mission is to solve the homeless pet problem in Marion County. We knew there were problems in our community, and we knew that we couldn't continue to go in the direction that we were going. So instead of trying to change the old, we really have always focused on building the new. We've looked at a lot of different animal welfare organizations that are larger and better funded, and really we wanted to see what they were doing. How were these other communities achieving things that our community wasn't? And really we knew we needed to have a lot of innovative ideas, and we needed to bring a lot of change to the community in order to be successful.
There isn't a single aspect of what we do that isn't done by our volunteers. We're very proud of that as an organization. We think that there are very few organizations that are so volunteer heavy like we are. Now in the future, we know that in order to expand, we're going to have to put paid staff on. But I want to take this opportunity to thank all our volunteers, because without them, we would be nowhere.
When I first started with Vocal, I thought, wow, that's a really big mission. But we've been able to break that down over the last few years into a few different facets, whether that's adoption, prevention, meaning spay and neuter, collaboration, working with other groups, or through different education platforms.
TNR stands for Trap, Neuter, Return, and it's the only humane option for truly feral cats. So if you have, say, 10 cats that live behind your home, if you TNR all of those cats, they are now living there safely, and they are not continuing to reproduce, and they're also keeping other cats from coming and moving into the area.
So a lot of times when animals come into our care, we never know what level their social skills are going to be, if they've ever been in a home, if they've ever interacted with other animals. So for us, it's really important that they're going to be successful when they're adopted. But we don't have criteria that says this is what it means to be successful when you're adopted, because we realize that every animal, whether it's a cat or a dog that comes into our care, is going to have their own specific set of needs. So we really kind of evaluate that at a baseline level and figure out okay, can this dog walk on a leash? Is this dog social with people? What do we need to really work on to at least make them adoptable to your average person that wants to come in and adopt a pet?
The Tammy Green Daniels Fix the Future Fund was really created to give people an option if they cannot afford to spay and neuter their pet. We often talk about the revolving door, which would be through intake and animals leaving a shelter through adoption. But there are so many other ways to keep animals from coming into the shelters to begin with. So our Fix the Future Fund really came into play probably in 2016 is when we really started to grow it, and it's continued to grow each year. Last year we spayed and neutered over 850 animals. We knew when we started, when we founded Vocal, that there was a major pet overpopulation problem. So the first thing we thought of was how could we keep animals from coming into the shelter to begin with, because we can't adopt our way out of the problem. We knew we couldn't. So that's why spay and neuter is so important, because we really need to have that accessibility so that there aren't people that are having unwanted litters, and then the whole litter of 10 dogs ends up at the shelter, or 6 cats ends up at the shelter. That's something that's so preventable and so easy, and realistically it's so much cheaper than housing and caring for animals. So we knew that it was something that was super important to bring to this community. We were so lucky that TLC PetSnip wanted to come into our area, and we actually share a building with them where our cat adoption center is, and we've been able to utilize them for all of our community spay and neuter, and we just have really appreciated that partnership.
One of the things that we realized is that it's very, very important to reach the next generation. Our youth council coordinator, Mimi, she's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. One of the things that we want to give kids is a sense of, hey, we're taking responsibility. You have to take responsibility. These are cute, fluffy little animals and everybody loves them. But when playtime is over, you also have to be serious about training them. So they come in and they do puppy kindergarten, they teach them basic skills, and they get started that way.
So in the winter of 2017, Chewy contacted us and they asked us, could you handle maybe receiving 10 pallets of damaged food? So we started accepting the pallets, and then Chewy just kind of continued to ask us to take more and more pallets. And we realized at that point, we need some sort of warehouse to store all this. We have been very lucky. We were able to lease a warehouse that's 2,500 square feet. And we have a volunteer staff that comes in. Usually it's bi-weekly on Sundays. It takes about 5 hours. We now receive close to 75 pallets of food, which is 3 semi-truckloads full of food.
There are so many stakeholders in making sure that we can fulfill our mission. Solving the homeless pet problem requires volunteers, requires donors, it requires other organizations, it requires good legislation, it requires a multi-pronged approach, and our donors are a huge part of that, because without them, we can't deliver these services. So, thank you, donors.